your boy, the DoorDash Revolution, once again with rack 'em up, stack 'em up, rack 'em up, stack 'em up again. I hope that your delivery drivers are making money out there. And today is Friday, July the 25th. Question that I had is this here: why there are so many orders, long distance orders from Grubhub? And I'm gonna go ahead and check all my settings and make sure that we straight right now, cause we're doing this live stream, and I want to make sure everything is in order. And I know there's been a lot of long distance orders on Grubhub, you know, more so this year than last year. But Grubhub drivers always have talked about long distance orders. And we're going to find out today in this journey that I want to be able to share some of my experience and show some of my receipts. Yes, show my receipts, ladies and gentlemen. That will, let's see, let's go through first. Prove what I'm talking about. Okay, now we on. Let me do this here. I want to do the due diligence, ladies and gentlemen. Setting up. We're still doing the setup. All right, we're gonna go here. Make sure I got everything set up. Want to make sure that we can got the live chat on. Got the live chat. Want to make sure the live chat replay is on right now. Well, we can leave the live chat summary in. I want to do this here. I want to definitely do that there. Okay, do this here. Let's just select this here, hit custom. All right, let's do this here. That right. Everything look pretty good right there. All right, shrink the screen. All right, you see everything right there. All right, next thing I want to make sure we got going on is this right here. Yeah, we're checking all our settings, making sure that we can do our settings. I wasn't able to do it manually before because I'm not on the tablet, but we can do it now. I want to check something, make sure everything's okay. Back out of that, let it do what it do. Shrink the screen once again, shrink it again. Can I slide it? This may be difficult for me to do. We got that set. Okay. Now I want to drop back and do that there. I want to check to make sure that the sound is clear and everything. You know, we do all of this right here on StreamYard. We do it different than we have to do it on YouTube Live. The question again, ladies and gentlemen, is why there are so many long distance orders on Grubhub? And as I'm checking the bells and whistles to this, we're gonna dive into it. And I want to make sure that the sound is accurate. That's what we want to make sure first. Let's see what we got here. I want to make sure that we are loud and clear before I proceed. All right. All right, appreciate you, brother. I appreciate you coming in. Phoenix, Phoenix drivers in the house. Okay, this is what we get ready to do right now, ladies and gentlemen. We're gonna go ahead and go to the Grubhub app. So we're gonna do that right now. As you can see, I'm turning on my Grubhub app. All right, I want to go to the earnings tab because the information that I'm going to provide today deals with your historical data. I have said it many times about how imperative that resource tool is, not only on Grubhub, but also on whatever platforms that you're using to do food delivery. Okay, let's go ahead and go to the earnings tab. Okay, something weird going on. Let me bounce back. I went into the earnings history. That's another topic we're gonna hit later. We're gonna go to week. I'm not gonna get my best week on Grubhub. I'm gonna get the better week, which is not as good as the best week. See, a lot of people want to show their best, and there's a whole lot of left out details that we don't share with our audience. So let me go ahead and go to my better week. And this receipt is not bragging. This receipt going to expose and reveal a whole lot of things that goes on in our decision making, as well as it's very important that we start checking out our historical data. Okay, I'm going to go to week right there, July the 7th through July the 13th. It says $721.88, right? Just remember that we're going to do a breakdown analysis of all of this and everything. Delivery pay is what? $330.15. Tips, $384.34 plus my contribution pay. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to pick Wednesday. Was it Wednesday? No, Friday. I'm going to pick Friday on here. And I'm going to talk about how many long distance orders that I had, the percentage of long distance orders, the percentage of reverse orders or backward orders or under the water orders. We're gonna present that information. We're gonna do a breakdown analysis of what I made per hour. I'm gonna do a breakdown analysis of what I made per order. I'm gonna do a breakdown analysis on dollar per mile ratio. And while all of these things is relevant when you make your decisions on how you maximize your earnings on Grubhub. So, to no further ado, let's go ahead. We're going to hit Friday. We're going to go to Friday. Okay, Friday earnings right there is $145.09. Okay, $67.30 on delivery pay, $86.76 on tips. Everybody be like, you on the right road for maximizing your earnings. And my acceptance rate for that day was 74%. All right, we get ready to go a little bit more deeper in detail so drivers can be able to analyze with critical thinking and analytical thinking on how to make the right decisions after you look at your historical data. Your historical data got so much information in it. It can tell you where you're making the wrong decisions. It can tell you where you're making your mistakes. It can tell you the areas you don't even need to be dashing in or trying to get deliveries. It would even tell you and show you if you use resource tools like your customer app that those are certain areas you shouldn't go. So let's go ahead and go to the next step here. We want to go to view the earnings activity on Grubhub. That's it right there. I'm going to count how many deliveries that I did that day. I want to say I did 20, but we're going to count them out loud. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Total of 19 offer assignments that was being offered to me. All right, I rejected 5 out of 19. So I accepted 14 orders. All right, I showed you a number of $154.09. So this is what we're going to do right now. We're going straight to the calculation. This is very powerful information here. We're going to go straight to the calculation, and that's what I'm getting ready to do right now. We're going to go to the calculator. $154.09. Let me bag it back. I put it in backwards. There we go. divided by, hold on, I did it wrong again. Divided by 14 orders. I made $11 and $11 per hour for 14 hours. Okay. Not $11 an hour, but $11 per order. Dollar per order ratio look good, right? Okay. Everybody agree with me that look good. All right, the next thing I want to show you is I'm getting ready to count how many long distance orders was in these 14 that I selected. We're going to count that out loud. All right. There go one. That's an average order. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Average order. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Let me get some water, please, for a second. 12. Average order. Average order. 13. 14. Okay. 14 out of 19 orders were long distance orders. All right. So I rejected 5 of those orders, which make it right at 10. We're going to say 9 long distance orders. 9. That's a lot of orders being presented to you. All right, we want to discuss, and we're going to show a few of them. This restaurant right here that I've been normally going to in the last 90 days or even longer, but we're not going to show all the 90 days and 120 days of I'm receiving all these orders. We're using this week, this day of that week, July the 7th through the 13th, July the 11th, which is on a Friday, of people looking at me saying, man, you got to be making it up about Happy Mexican. Oh, we're getting ready to show you right now. I can't blow it up because I'm on the original app. All right. You see Happy Mexican right there. I'm going to put it close as possible. All right. $13.89 for 14.8 miles. That is a reverse order. The area that I was in, I wasn't there at the beginning of the lunch shift, but yes, I was. I was there at the beginning of the lunch shift, over there in that area. Orders don't really start dropping till 11:30. Okay, but I get this order here. All right. $7.39 base pay, $6.50 bonus pay, total of $13.89, right? 14.8 miles. I could have simply rejected that order right then, but I went ahead and did it. After I received that order, as I was on the run to go over it, I get another hit from Happy Mexican add-on. $2. What do you see right here? 14.8 miles going in the same direction. I get 2 orders from Happy Mexican. This is for beginning drivers that's looking at it today, or first-time viewers that looking at this today. We're giving you a breakdown analysis on how you need to look at your historical data. Everybody market is different. Every driver don't make the same decisions. And people that usually show good numbers don't show all the details in that receipt. They talk about things at the end of the day results, but they don't talk to you about what's going on through the process of the day. We want to talk to you today about what goes on in the process of the day. I'm already behind the 8 ball. Took this long distance order, which wasn't in it beneficial for me. Except for it took me from an area where I could get better paying offers. But since I got put in this algorithm, there was a whole lot of decisions I had to make after I did that. Because it's something I'm trying to find out in my research and case study and what Grubhub is doing. All right. At the beginning of a scheduled block, my experience in a super saturated market in my market, they're going to always give you that reverse order. 30 minutes at the end, just before the end of the shift, same thing. There's a weird pattern going on right there. Or we'll talk about that a little bit later in the episodes. Just watch this whole video. If you're not able to watch the whole video, come back in the replay. I'm going to try to put timestamps in. It takes time to put timestamps in when I do everything on the back end. When you come back to look at the replay, be sure to look at those timestamps, areas where you say, okay, I stopped right here. I didn't look at the whole video. Let me hit that timestamp or chapters. They call it chapters as well. Let's see what he's talking about there. All right. So the order was actually $15 and change going 14.8 miles. All right. The next order was Popeyes. 9.2 miles. That's a long distance order. Okay. That's enough to wreck your shift. Only one of these orders was enough to wreck your shift. But I've been telling people, I've been letting my Grubhub drivers know, we getting a whole lot of avalanches of long distance orders, reverse orders. So let me go ahead a little further. I'm not going to go step by step on all of these. I won't have time to do all of that. But time is limited as it is. All right. So the next one was Popeyes, which I just showed. And I'm going to show the other ones that I rejected. They was also reverse orders. All right. I got one that was average order. I rejected Wendy's because it was a upside down order. New viewers probably wondering what you mean by reverse orders and upside down orders and under the water orders. When you have, I'm gonna go back again, show Happy Mexican. I uses them for a resource information and training tool that you look at. This is what we're talking about. More miles than the dollar amount. That is a upside down order. In some regions, we call it a reverse order because it's more miles than it is the dollar. Some people call it under the water. You're drowning, you're trying to find your way to get back to the top of the surface so you can breathe again. So that's what we mean when we talk about that. All right, I got another one which was from this restaurant. 14 miles for $18.91. But it was taking me in the area where I knew I could get orders. And I know at that duration of time it would take me to an area that I needed to be, that I was taken away from. Okay. So once again, I rejected a Happy Mexican order. Had another one came in on this shift, right? It was reverse. Okay. Then I happen to get a good one. I'm going to show this one, but I'm not going to show where it's at. I took a screenshot of it. Okay, here it is right here. You'll see July 11th up there. You see the time and everything. I made sure people didn't know details here of the location where I got that order from and the restaurant. I asked a question in the community post about this order here. Well, let me make sure that I put it in there. If not, I'm gonna go ahead and say it now. Was this a large order? I'm gonna give you a few minutes to think about it, and then you can put it in the comments there below. Those that are able to, put comments in. Back to the storytelling here of my experience. Hold on, what's going on? Now Grubhub sending me a message. What do I have pending? Oh yeah, that's the customer side. I'm gonna get ready to start doing videos on my Grubhub customer app. I got some food reviews I'm gonna do on that particular app there. We'll talk about that a little later on in this video. So they will give me notifications on that. Let me go back. I was just about finished showing these receipts. Okay, so you're looking at 19 orders. I rejected 5 reverse orders. More miles than for the dollar. I'm getting all these orders on this 2 hour shift or 2.5 hour shift. That's a lot of long distance orders being received in a 2.5 hour shift. So, in my historical data, why are Grubhub drivers getting so many long distance orders? I wasn't in the wrong area. At the beginning of the morning, was it beginning of the morning shift? At the beginning of the, a little bit before the lunch shift got started, I somewhat was. All right. When I started the next shift, I was already there. Same results. Getting pulled away from a certain area where you can maximize your earnings. Okay. I'm gonna tell you what the problem is. Reason why a lot of drivers don't understand why they getting a whole lot of undesirable offers, long distance orders and reverse orders. You're not the only driver out there. We have thousands of drivers here in Memphis, Tennessee area where there are more drivers than it is supply and demand. Number one. You have areas where drivers are at these Grubhub restaurants don't never show up on the hot map. Why? Because there's already too many drivers over there and they don't need to be sending no more over there. So what Grubhub is doing is the stuff that they beginning to show you on the heat map is where they need drivers at. Those areas don't usually be prosperous areas for delivery drivers. You see, there's more to the details of advanced techniques and strategies we had to use when we're looking at our historical data, right? All right, this is what I want to do. We want to sit here and show you my schedule for that day. I said I did 7 hours active time, 8 hours total time. We're going to talk about that. You can go into the Grubhub app because that's where we go. We're going to pull up July 11th. July 11th said Friday, and it also showed the active time. I said 7 hours. It got 6 hours and 48 minutes. So 7 hours. Going back to the calculator once again. $154.09. Okay, let's do that. $154.09 divided by 7 hours. That's $22.01 per hour. Active time, I made good money, right? With all of these now, long distance orders. All right. So early in the video, I said it was 9, but it was actually 10 out of 14. Undesirable orders. 10 out of 14 that I accepted. Long distance orders. Okay, this phone act funny now. All right, let's do this here. I don't know why I don't want to do that. Let's do this again. So the mic don't want to talk, right? We're going to try this. What is 10%? I'm asking the wrong question. Hold on. Try it again. What is the percent of 10 out of 14? %. 71% of my orders, ladies and gentlemen, were long distance and reverse orders included in that packet. 71%. I still made $154. Did it in 7 hours, averaged $22 an hour. Okay, I accepted 14 orders, right? Dollar per order ratio was $11 per order. $22 per hour active time. All right, let's go ahead and see what it was total time. 8 hours total time. So let's go ahead and do that. Because usually when you get these orders, I don't sit still. I get an order, drop it off, go to the pickup location, get ready to go to the drop-off location, get an add-on. That's how mine work. So my window is real close when it's active time and total time. I have less idle time. I don't have that many. I gotta wait on orders a whole lot because I had long distance orders. Majority of my orders was long distance orders because us drivers not accepting them. I don't blame you. You shouldn't have to accept them. But when you getting these many orders, you got to know how to navigate your long distance orders and make it profitable for you. That'll be in another episode. So I'm not telling driver take these orders. But if you happen to get in the crossfire and you getting all these orders, what you gonna do? The decision is yours. I'm not gonna tell you how to make your own decision. The decision is yours. And we're gonna talk about my ratings too. So my ratings is at 83%, which is equivalent to the DoorDash acceptance rating, right? Grubhub is offer commitment. Okay. I'm declining 17% of these orders that's coming to me, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So, but I'm still getting these long distance orders. I can be right in that hot spot, in the right area, all of that, where I know where these good orders at. Grubhub will take me from that hot spot, send me to the next hot spot, which is 3 miles or less. Then I start getting these upside down orders. Then I start getting these long distance orders. Then I start getting these orders that I got to fight and struggle throughout the day, like many of you, trying to make money. Okay. But the reason is you already got drivers over the catfishing for orders. So Grubhub don't have a choice but to wind up giving them to you. Feel like they picking on you. Why I'm getting all these orders, everybody else not getting them. That's why we here today in this episode to explain why drivers you getting these orders. Maybe you making the bad decision, like I used to do, and sometimes I got to break the habit to where okay, I'm gonna turn the app on at my house and drive to the area that's more desirable for me to make money. I'm gonna get hit in the crossfire before going over there, right? So I need to make a better decision on the routes I want to take to make deliveries for maximizing my earnings. All right, so we showed you $22 per hour ratio. We showed you $11 per order ratio. We're going to talk about the miles in this episode that may blow minds like landmines. Stay to the end of this video. We're about to wrap everything up. Let's go ahead and do the 8 hours there. The 8 hours show, ladies and gentlemen, $19.26. Okay. People say that's still pretty good. I like for my range to be at least 20 and higher total time. But we dealing with long distance orders. 71% of my orders were long distance orders, ladies and gentlemen, 10 out of 14 that accepted. I had 19 total offers. I rejected 5 of them off the muscle because they were reverse orders, bad reverse orders on top of that. All right, maybe I'm gonna show you an example how bad one is. I get some from this restaurant all the time. I keep telling folks I don't want to go there. Every now and then, if I happen to be too close to that restaurant, they're gonna give them to me. All right, so this is what we want to share with you right now. Also, I want to be able to go back to the screen real quick. Something I want to check right now. I'm gonna turn the volume down. I'm gonna see if I have any comments in the comment section or on the live chat. I want to do that right quick. Something I want to see before I proceed on. Okay, I don't have any comments no more than the Phoenix driving house. He's also a witness of what I'm talking about as well. You know, we talk about these things every day. Okay, let me go ahead and do the mileage thing. That's what I want to do. This is what people want to know. And I'm gonna do it manually, and I'm gonna put it in the my calculator, and we're gonna discuss this thing. Let me go to earnings activity, which will be your earnings or activity history. Let's go ahead and we're gonna start all the way from the top. All right, we're looking at 5.7 miles plus 14.8 miles plus so both of them combined, so it's the same direction, so it's the same thing. I don't have to put it in twice on that. 9.2 miles. Bear with me. Plus 5.3 miles plus 14.2 miles plus 7.8 miles plus. We about halfway there. 1.2 miles plus That was the best order of the day. All right. 6.9 miles plus 6.7 miles plus 6.3 miles plus 5.8 miles plus 11.8 miles plus. We had 95 miles right now. All right, we're almost at the end. 8.8 miles plus 7 miles. No, that's correct. I already added it in. So here it is right here. 104 miles, ladies and gentlemen. 104 and a half miles. All right. $154, right? And 9 cents. $154.09 divided by 104 miles. 104.5 miles, right? $1.47, ladies and gentlemen, per mile. Okay. I'm gonna announce it again. I wanted to digest for a minute there. So I'm proving to you that I'm making decisions where I'm staying in the algorithm, that I'm not wasting a lot of miles. Plus, I shave miles on some of them long distance orders by not going on the E-way. Okay, that's a big difference too. All right. So, with that being said, I have proven that I use a strategy on how to navigate my long distance orders. Decision making is very important, but you can't make a decision without having knowledge of what's going on. Having the resource tools and being able to read and comprehend what your app is showing you on your active deliveries, and having knowledge of your market. And what I mean by knowledge of your market is the seasons that you doing these deliveries in, the go-to restaurants where you can make your money at, the areas where you can try to avoid getting the astronomical number of long distance orders, ladies and gentlemen. It's a whole lot of information in your historical data that I will not be able to cover in today's video. But I have put enough on your mind today. We gave you the dollar per mile ratio, the dollar per order ratio, dollar per hour ratio. Okay. And there was one order in there. There was $29 for 1.2 miles. Right in the area that I was in, got taken away from, right? I didn't fuss, I didn't gripe, I sit up here trying to strategize because I'm understanding something in my market. This is what you're going to have to do in your market. Do your own case study and research, ladies and gentlemen. Your own case study and research. A lot of people was like, oh, he spent a lot of miles. It averaged out $1.47 per mile. I could have added the additional 30 miles just for the in-between routes. But I told you that no sooner as I'm dropping the order off, I'm getting hit with an add-on. So I didn't have really that much in between my drop-off and going to trying to find a restaurant. The reason why, because all the orders was already ready, because all the drivers declined the orders. I don't blame them. But you got to understand, in my market, I'm in a super saturated marketplace. Thousands and thousands of drivers out there. Even when you're multi-app and all of those apps are super saturated. That 10 of them, I'm still on the waiting list. I do have 3 that I can go to. Okay. So I would have to start stacking my apps to where, okay, I'm going to maximize right here. Now I got to get off that app. Now I'm getting on this app. I'm going to maximize on that app. Now I got to get off that app. I'm getting ready to maximize on my next app. Boom. But suppose you're a driver that just have DoorDash on. Suppose you're a driver that just have Grubhub on. Suppose you're a driver that just have Uber Eats on. But you got drivers that's already the hit of the game on you because we got multiple apps. Not only that, you got drivers out there got multiple DoorDash accounts, up to 3 apps, 3 DoorDash accounts, 3 Grubhub accounts, 3 Uber Eats accounts. I've seen it live and living color with these 2 eyes right here. Super saturating the market that is superly oversaturated times 3 compared to a lot of markets and cities in your area. So how do you succeed in maximizing your earnings that you can get a profit? You got to do your research, your case study, your historical data is the most important besides making the right decisions. I could have bragged and said I made that money, made it look all lucrative and all that, left all them details out right there. No, we need to know the full journey of the ride to where, okay, 50% of the time I make good decisions, 50% of the time I make the wrong decisions. I believe I'll be the first content creator to tell you that. Just keeping it real. OG driver information right here. Veteran driver information right here. Just as well as beginning drivers information right here. All put in one bucket together. The fine print that we don't read is what's in front of our face. Believe that. I will be doing another live stream. And we will be doing other episodes. We want to just scratch the surface a little bit on how to navigate your long distance orders. I can't give you all the juice. I got a market. I can't give all this juice away. Then I'll be putting myself out of business. Let me use an example. You got a carpet cleaning business. I got a carpet cleaning business. John got a carpet cleaning business. We know some of the same people, or we found out through some of our friends that know his friends where he's getting ready to do business at. We found out the prices over there. We outbid him on the prices. The way he don't get the job, I get the job. Why? Because I gave a better offer, a better incentive, a better perk. The better perk could be, okay, you let me do your cleaning and clean your carpets for a discount price. and we'll come out and treat your carpet every 3 months. Okay, John didn't give that offer to him. So since I gave a better and sweeter deal, I done took that job from John. It's the same way in what we do in this gig business, ladies and gentlemen. So I learned the hard way on DoorDash by giving a little bit too much information. I trained 25 drivers to do what? Run me out of those markets. I'm not going to do it this time around with Grubhub. That was powerful information right there. There's even more than that, but I'm not going to go in that type of detail. That was just scratching the surface. So now you got to do your own legwork. You got to do your own homework. You got to study your own market. You got to study your app in your market. You got to make your own decisions. I'm not going to tell you how. I already gave you a blueprint. That's all you need. Not going to give you minute details. Out of all the content creators I've seen out here, I'm the most challenged one on, yes, you need to show more information. Yes, you need to show more proof. I just showed. I'm not showing more than that. Because if you don't understand that, you don't need to be doing this business. You need to find another business to get into. I'm just being honest with you right there. So, with that being said, you got to know how to navigate these long distance orders. I'm not telling you to take them. But if you're talking about getting in these different tier programs, you have to do something. Either you're going to take them or you're going to figure out a way to cheat the system. That's the bottom line. That's the truth. Now, why are we getting all these long distance orders? We're going to do research. We're going to bring it up in one of these videos coming up. Why? And what season did you get more of these long distance orders than other seasons? Now you got to sit here and look at a super saturated market. It's this one times 3. Because people using multiple apps, multiple accounts. That's why I said times 3. They're using 3. Okay, that's why I said times 3. That's why we are super saturated market, not an oversaturated market, which means we got more saturation. Then we got restaurant closings that didn't happen right here in this market with Grubhub. I lost a lot of clients like that. Good clients, good paying clients. Okay. So not only that, they're allowing customers to order further away. Not only that, why are there more undesirable orders than it is desirable orders? Because customers now is ordering off the company website. Okay, getting a sweeter deal. You wonder where your catering orders are going to on the company website. Check out when you get large orders. You're going to get a flat rate. $7, $8, $9, $11, $21. Going to be a set rate. That's correct, Rev. Save some of that juice for later. I'm going to save some of that juice for later. You see, I got another episode. And it's time, the clock on the wall telling me it's time to get ready to go. So you got to understand that it's not always DoorDash giving us all of these scenarios of jacked up offers. It's a whole lot of other scenarios that's bringing the reason why we getting all these undesirable offers. Now you got to figure out what you got to do with it. You got to think and stop complaining. Complaining not gonna solve problems. So my thing is, you gotta change your mindset. You gotta change your attitude. You gotta get out of that poverty mindset. You gotta stop being lazy. So all I should be doing is accept and decline. Them days over with. The pandemic days over with. Okay, they're over with. So I gave enough information right there that'll last a lifetime. And I'm gonna tell you something. Even 3 years from now, you can still go back to this video and still be able to use the information I just gave you. It won't be obsolete information. There will always be long distance orders. There will always be undesirable orders. There will always be reverse orders. Now, what you gonna do about it? What solutions you gonna bring to the table to resolve your problem with these issues here and figure out a way to maximize your earnings to make a profit? Peace. Take care, ladies and gentlemen. We will see you in the next video.